Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades in the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, this past week, struggled a little bit. It seems like I've been struggling a lot the last couple of weeks, a few weeks, but finished the week with 12 wins and 4 losses for a win rate of 75%. Definitely below my 85% average. Weekly average I try to achieve, but I mean, it is what it is. So with that said, I'm just gonna get into it. I said in the room I'm not doing a watch list because they have a China trade deal, and the market's probably gonna gap up massive, and it's not even worth doing it, because if I do a watch list, the whole thing is going to be all messed up just because of the trade deal. So I mean, we could gap up to 580 tomorrow. It's kind of crazy, but which is why we just got to take it one day at a time. We'll just see what happens in the morning. We'll go from there as far as the watch list is concerned. So now Monday the 5th. I usually wait out the first half an hour. I didn't this time. I took puts at, I should have taken the first half an hour, because actually I'm getting ahead of myself. Traded his room on the 5th. I said SPY calls of 564, which is up here, this high right here. First 2 minute candles red, and we also have the support right here at 562. So that's why I was kind of looking at puts. Was because we had a red candle, and if we lost 562, we were probably going to drop. At least that's what I thought. So that's why I grabbed the 5600 put to 750. And as soon as I get in, it pushed the other way. So I ended up stopping out. So I should have waited out my first half an hour. But even if I did, I probably would have. I would have avoided this too, because 10 o'clock would have been up here. So yeah. I should have waited out my first half an hour. I always wait out the first half an hour on the first trading day of the week. Notice I said the first trading day of the week because it's not always Monday. Then I took, next play was at 10:08. I took calls right at a higher day. Right when it broke over a higher day on this candle right here, which is right over the 563.30-ish. I took the 5670 calls at 750, and I went from 750 to 10. Came back down. I grabbed calls again at 1038, which is right here, right when it got over these two wicks right over here above the 564. I might have actually taken it over 564 because it popped, came back down towards VWAP, not quite near. It came close but didn't really touch it. Then it popped. So when I got over these two candles right here, that's when I grabbed the 5670 calls again, this time at 740. And they went from $7.40 to $12 plus on that push right there. So 2 good plays to make up for that loss. I'm not going to complain about that. Then I took calls again at 202, which I think is right here. No, right here. Yeah, right here. When I made new high a day, I took the 5675 calls at 680, and they went from 680 to $8 plus. So that ended up being a small, decent play out of that, so definitely pleased about that. Then on to Tuesday, traded his room on the 6th. I said SPY calls over 559, which is right here at this high, because I must have called the pre-market down closer to here. So yeah, I was using this high right here. And the first 2 minute candle, it popped, and I took it right away. I took it at 9:32. So as soon as it broke 559, I took calls because we had this gap down. So we closed right around the 563. We opened around 558. That's a $5 gap down. And usually these big gap downs, they pop at open, and the big gap ups, as you can see from Monday. What day was it? Was it Monday? No, must be thinking of something else. But anyways, the big gap down anyways from Monday to Tuesday is a $5 plus gap down, and they usually pop at open. So when you see gap downs, big gap downs like that, I'm looking for calls at open because they usually squeeze them out. Or if there's a massive gap up, I'm looking for a fade at open, which is something we're probably going to end up seeing tomorrow. If we gap up really, really huge tonight, we're probably going to fade at open. So definitely keep an eye on that. It's something that's been happening all week long is Trump keeps coming around and saying we have a deal. Then when they turn around and find out an hour or two later, the deal is either not happening or something happens with the deal or something like that. Because I remember the UK said he had a deal with the UK, and then turn around and not a couple hours later, because they had a major press conference about us having the deal, which was I think Friday. This was like the deal for UK, and then the UK turned around and said, "Well, the deal's not finalized yet. They're still working some kinks out. There's some things that need to be looked into," and the market just dumped. So we could end up seeing that. It seems like Trump is just getting premature on announcing the deals before they're finalized, and just trying to get some momentum back in the market or something. I don't know, but it's we could see the same thing happen tomorrow. We could gap up really huge on the trade deal news, and we could just fade. So just definitely keep an eye on that. So as soon as I got over 559 right here, I took the 5640 calls at 570, and they went to $7. Then it came back down, and when it made new lower day and got underneath 558, that's when I grabbed the 5560 calls. The 5560 calls to 660, and they went from 660 to $9. So definitely pleased about that. Then I took calls at 103, which is rate 103. Why did I take it here? Maybe I think I might have took it for a push over view up, and I think that's what I did, because I had the 5630 calls at 550, and they only went to $7. So because they only moved $1.50, it's telling me that I got the push through view up. So we dipped to a view up and I got the push through. So that's what I was looking for, kind of a crazy move, but it is what it is. So doing pretty good. Only one loss. Yeah, it was Monday. Tuesday, no losses. Wednesday I did pretty good. Wednesday was FOMC. Really not much going on FOMC, not as much as I thought, but traded his room on Wednesday the 7th. I said calls, SPY calls about 562, which is right here above this area right up here, where it's finding a little bit of resistance, this channeling right here. I like to use the nearest half dollar or whole dollar in the traded his room, because there's no point using exact numbers, because the volatility is just so massive at open that it doesn't really matter. So, but yeah. First 10 minute candles red, didn't touch anything. I did play SPY puts at 1054, which is right here, right when I made new lower day, got underneath 560. That's when I grabbed the 560 puts at 236, and they went from 236 to 320. So I'm definitely pleased about that. Then I didn't take anything until FOMC. Now FOMC starts at 2, the actual announcement, and then Powell comes out at 2:30. And I used to take the FOMC strangle at like 1:55, 5 minutes before 2 o'clock. But lately, over the last year or 6 months, we've been getting massive moves, like 15 minutes going into FOMC. So I've caught a lot of good plays just in the 15 minutes prior to FOMC announcement. So I've been getting the plays around 1:30 to 1:45, and I got the strangle at 1:40 at this particular time. So I had the 55.70 puts at 6:30. Let's see, where's 145? Right here. Okay, I remember this. Right when it was pulled back right here to VWAP, that's when I legged into puts, calls, I think, first. And then I grabbed puts, so maybe it was the other way around. I legged into one of them, on this pullback. So, but anyways, I got the 55.70 puts at 6:30, and I got the calls, the 56.60 calls at 6:30. I got them both at 6:30, which is kind of weird because that rarely ever happens. But because I started legging in one side earlier than the other, I managed to catch the drop or the pop or something. Then it just dumped. So you can see right here, 150. And then the announcement was right here. So yeah, it drops almost $2 right here before even the announcement came out. So that's what I'm talking about. These moves happen way ahead of time. So those 55.70 puts went to $11, and I stopped out of the calls right when it popped up. Because I think I took most of the play before the announcement even happened. And then I think I took the rest. And then it popped up, and when it popped up, I just jumped out of the calls at 490. So I definitely had a good play out of that. Then at 247, I took puts, which is 247 right here. I think I got underneath 559 area. I got the 55.75 puts at 610, and they went from 610 to 1080. So yeah, I got them underneath 559 using this area over here, this little zone, the 559. Once it broke below that, I was going to take the puts. Well, I did take the puts, and then when it broke, I took it. I wasn't sure if we're going to break new lower day because, 559 is a pretty good area to go off from. So the 55.75 calls, I got at 610. Yeah, like I said, went from 610 to 1080. So definitely a good play out of that. Then we gapped up huge. This might have been the gap up I was talking about. Yeah, because we closed at 561. No, it's not that huge. It's only $4, but it looks huge. I took calls at 953. I don't know why. Oh, this is the day. This is the Trump. This is the Trump announcement, because this announcement was at 10 o'clock. That's why I front loaded calls. I got the 5,700 calls at $7, and I front loaded calls, and we didn't get Trump until 50 minutes late. That was so annoying. I don't know why all the presidents need to be late. You don't see Powell being late for his press conference at 2:30. He's always on time. No president is ever on time for his press conference. It's so friggin' annoying. I wish they'd stop being on time, but anyways, yeah, I front loaded the put calls thinking that we were gonna pop, but we ended up sitting and waiting too long. Then it dropped, and I stopped out. As soon as I stopped out, it raged. I should have just held on to it, knowing that that Trump was gonna pump it, but I could have gone to zero too. But whatever. But yeah, this is where he announced the UK deal. I didn't like it at first. Then it turned around and just skyrocketed. Then this is where the UK came out and said, "Well, deal's not finalized yet. We got some things to work out." This is the day it happened right here. I thought it was Friday, but it's not. This is the day, because I front loaded those calls, and I kept thinking that was so stupid. I shouldn't have done that, or I should have just held. But the thing is, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen 10 minutes from now, an hour from now. You don't know if SPY is going to rage or if it's going to dump. It could have been a sell the news event. And that's what it was starting to look like. So when you're dealing in real time, you're making decisions on what's happening right then and now, and you can't guess the future. You're not, you don't have a crystal ball. You're not a fortune teller. You don't know what's going to happen. So you just gotta go based on what you're seeing. And what I was seeing was, the market didn't like the news, and it could have been a possible sell the news event. So I stopped out, and then it ripped. But I did take calls at 11:21, right up here, right in here. When this raged up and it pulled back, that's when I grabbed the 56.90 calls, and they went from $7.50 to $15. So I did catch this, but when it raged like this, I was so annoyed. But when it pulled back, I grabbed it. Then I grabbed puts at 137, which is right here. As you can see, we ranged top out right around this 570 area, not quite 570, like 569.70, pull back, came back up to it, pull back, making an ascending wedge. And when it broke out and get over 570 and quickly rejected it, well, I took puts as soon as it got underneath this 568.50 area. So I grabbed the 5700 puts under 568.50. I got them at $8.50, and they went from 8.50 to 14.90. So that ended up being a good play on that. So that worked out really, really good. So then traded his room on the Friday. I said SPY puts under 566, which is down here, because it was up here when I called it. So down here, and I didn't even post anything on that day. But yeah, I think it was, they took 2 losses. I have to go over here to the thing. I do remember this day because I took 2 losses. The first, everything I did, I was just wrong. As soon as I got in it, it popped, and what did I say? No, it's okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. The first play I took 11.36. I waited 11.36 right here. It came up the VWAP, pull back, and it quickly came back up. I grabbed the 56.90 calls at 580, and it popped over VWAP, and I had a chance to sell. I didn't. That it dumped, and then I stopped out, so I ended up taking a loss. Then I took puts at 12.49, which is right here, right when it got below this 563 area, thinking we were going to make new lower day. And as soon as I got into 56.30, puts at $6, it popped. So I was just like, okay, this is ridiculous. I mean, I get into calls right here, it goes the other way. As soon as I get into puts, thinking we're going to flush through the lower day, it pops. And I was just like, okay. I decided to take calls. One more chance. If this ended up being a loss, then I was out. I was done for the day. And I took calls at 111, which is right here. Right when I figured, okay, it's going to stay above 563. 563 is probably going to be the low of the day. It's going to stay in the range, and I just took the chance. So I grabbed the 56.70 calls at 540, and of course, as soon as I got in, it popped a little bit, dumped, but it quickly got, as soon as it went under 563, it got bought really, really fast, then it popped through VWAP. So I took a chance. Those puts I got at 850 went to 14.90. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing, but yeah, I grabbed calls right here to 111. I said I grabbed puts, I didn't. I grabbed the 56.70 calls at 540. I'm looking at my my Twitter page because I'm so used to referencing the plays on Twitter that I was looking at the last play of the day on Thursday, and yeah, I totally messed that up. But now that I know that I'm looking at the wrong day, but yeah, I grabbed the 56.70 calls right here at 111. So yeah, I grabbed the calls, it dropped down. As soon as I got underneath 563, I got bought back up quickly. So those calls, I got a 540. I stayed in it, because I wanted to see if I was going to make new lower day. It didn't make new lower day, and as soon as it got underneath 563, I got bought back up really, really fast. And ended up going green. I don't know what they went to. If I had to guess, they went from 540 to probably $8. If I had to guess, pushed to VWAP. So, yeah, sorry about the confusion. I didn't realize I didn't post Friday stuff on after the market closed, but I had to leave early to do a personal thing, so I just probably got sidetracked, and the weekend I couldn't wait. This weekend, this whole week was just terrible. So I mean, I could have done better. I mean, I actually had Monday through Wednesday was good. It's Thursday and Friday that I could have done better on, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is. With that said, yeah, that's going to do it for the recap. I hope this has helped. I know I rambled, got confused a little bit, but I don't like to edit these, and it's going to stay like that, and you're going to get the raw version, and thanks for watching.